This is the Haier 14,000 British thermal unit window air conditioner, and it sits in that sweet spot for people who need real cooling power in a bigger space, but do not want to deal with installing a whole home system. I've been using it in a large living area that opens into a kitchen, and it makes sense for places where a smaller window unit just runs non-stop and never quite catches up. If you are cooling a bedroom the size of a typical apartment bedroom, this is probably more unit than you need. But if you have a larger living room, an open layout, a studio, or you work from home in a bigger space where heat builds up, this is the kind of capacity that actually changes your day-to-day comfort. Living with it, the physical design is mostly about airflow and access. The front vents are adjustable in a way I actually use. I can swing the airflow left and right and tilt it up, which matters because I do not always want cold air blasting straight at the couch. I like being able to bounce the air up toward the ceiling so it mixes more evenly. Behind that vent is the filter, and I appreciate that it slides out easily. I have already pulled it out and rinsed it, and it is one of those maintenance things you will do more often than you think, especially if you have pets or you live somewhere dusty. When the filter starts loading up, you feel it. The airflow gets a little weaker and the unit has to work harder. Keeping it clean keeps the cooling feeling consistent. Control is straightforward. The buttons on the unit are simple enough that I can walk up and change temperature or fan speed without thinking. The included remote is the thing I end up using most, and it responds quickly. It is not one of those remotes where you have to aim just right and press twice. I will also say, I did not expect to care about smart controls on a window air conditioner, but I ended up using them more than I thought. Being able to change settings from my phone when I am in another room is genuinely useful. If I am coming home and the place has been heating up all day, I can kick it on before I walk in. If I leave the house and realize I forgot to turn it off, I can check and handle it without turning around. Installation is very doable, but I want to be honest about what that means in real life. This is not a tiny unit you casually lift with one hand. It has some weight to it, and I recommend having another person nearby when you place it in the window. The included panels do the job sealing the sides, and once it is in, it feels stable. It is designed primarily for the kind of window that slides up and down, and that is where it feels most natural. If your window slides side to side, you can still make it work, but you will probably need to add a solid piece above it so you are not letting hot air creep in. After I had it seated, leveled, and sealed, the day-to-day experience got easy. That is really the theme here. Once you do the setup right, you stop thinking about it. On responsiveness, it reacts quickly when I change the temperature or mode. When I put it into cooling, I feel the cold air within moments, and the room starts shifting in a noticeable way pretty fast. In my space, it does the important part well, which is pulling down that initial heat load without sounding like it is about to take off. I am sensitive to noise when I am trying to work, and this is not silent, but it is a steady kind of sound that fades into the background for me. On a higher fan setting, you will hear more airflow, which is expected. What matters is that it does not rattle or sound cheap. It sounds like a solid unit moving a lot of air. Cooling performance is where this model earns its keep. 14,000 British thermal units is meaningful because it is the difference between an air conditioner that cycles normally and one that runs constantly and still feels behind. In the afternoon, when the sun is hitting my windows and the kitchen is putting out extra heat, this unit keeps up. I can feel it maintaining comfort rather than constantly chasing it. The air comes out cold and stays consistent, and the room feels more even once it has had some time to circulate. The adjustable vent direction helps a lot here because I can aim the airflow to avoid hot spots. I also use the different modes more than I expected. There is a regular cooling mode for when I need it to pull the room down quickly. There is a fan-only mode, which I use at night sometimes when it is not that hot but I want air movement. The eco mode is the one I keep coming back to during long stretches because it does a better job of not running harder than it needs to. It is not magic, it is just a more thoughtful cycle. The room reaches the temperature I want, and then it backs off. In real terms, that means less noise over time and less of that feeling like the air conditioner is always on. The sleep setting is also surprisingly practical. When I am trying to sleep, I do not want to wake up freezing at 3 in the morning. With sleep mode, the temperature behavior feels more gradual, like it is trying to keep the room comfortable instead of aggressively cold. It is a small quality of life thing, but it matters if you run your unit overnight. Let me tell you how it has gone in actual use. On a hot day, I let the room warm up on purpose to see how quickly it could recover. I turned it on, set a comfortable temperature, and let it run. Within the first chunk of time, the air felt noticeably less humid and heavy. That is the part I care about. Dry, cool air changes how the room feels, not just what a number on a display says. Over the next stretch, the entire space became more livable, including the area that usually stays warmer near the kitchen. I still get the best results when I keep interior doors open so the air can move, and I use a ceiling fan on low sometimes to help mix the room. But the unit itself is doing the heavy lifting. A specific use case for me has been work days. I will have a computer running, lights on, and I am moving around between my desk and the kitchen. Heat builds up fast in that scenario. With this unit running in eco mode and a moderate fan speed, I can stay comfortable for hours without needing to adjust it. I can take calls without feeling like the background noise is overwhelming, and when I am off camera, I sometimes bump the fan up to cool the space a little faster, then bring it back down. That kind of quick control is what makes it feel usable. The smart features are not just a checkbox here. The phone control has been reliable for me, and voice assistant control is nice when my hands are full. I will be honest, I do not use voice control every day, but when I do, it is because I am cooking or walking in with groceries, and I want to change the temperature without stopping what I am doing. I also like being able to check whether it is running from another room. It sounds small, but it reduces those little moments of doubt. Now for a couple real criticisms. Because it is a stronger unit, the physical size and weight make installation more of an event than a quick task. Plan for that. Also, if you are extremely sensitive to noise, you will still hear it, especially on higher fan speeds. It is not obnoxious, but it is present. The best balance for me is letting it cool the room down, then running a lower fan speed once it is stable. So here is where I land. If you have a larger room or an open living space, and you are tired of an air conditioner that cannot keep up, this is the kind of window unit that actually feels capable. I like the airflow control. I like the easy filter access. I like that the remote and the app both work without drama. And I like that eco mode helps it settle into a comfortable rhythm instead of blasting nonstop. If you are cooling a small bedroom, I would look at something smaller. But if you need real cooling for a bigger space and you want modern control options that you will actually use, this one makes a lot of sense. If this video helped you out, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment with your room size and what temperatures you are dealing with, and I will tell you what has worked for me. Thank you for watching.